Hi, this is Michael Adams for CEORoaster, and I'm still in Vancouver I was at the Vancouver Resource Investment Show and was trying to do a video interview with Rob from Exeter, but he was so busy, right? He was always talking. Yeah, the crowd has been way bigger than it was last year, so I was just trying to. I'm now dropping into the office to get an update, especially because there was finally a news release on Exeter last week, right? And regarding the water rights in Chile, which is fairly important for the company, and also, of course, get an outlook for 2017. So. First of all, thanks for taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
And yeah, I just mentioned the news release. So yeah, what's up? Tell us.
So we've done a deal, a desal deal. As everyone knows, we've drilled a water aquifer, and we're still waiting on the permit. We believe we'll get that permit, but we just don't know the exact timing. We've been looking at other alternatives over the last few years, and I've told your readers that and your listeners that. And we did a deal last Tuesday on a desal option where we can start with that oxide, 1.7 million ounces gold, about 50 liters a second, and we make some payments. They're not onerous payments, and it's something that we can start on the oxide and move forward the company. I know some of your people in Germany have asked, well, what, guys, get going, get the pre-feasibility, get the feasibility, get into production. This gives us an option to do that. We haven't left the water that we drilled. We're just working on it still, and hopefully we'll get that in the coming months or year.
So this new option, that's existing water from a third party?
It's a third party. It's a desal plant. It's water that comes through the ocean, that goes through a plant, and then will be pumped up to us.
Okay, and this kinds of enables you, if you'd like to fast track the development
on the oxide. That's what we're looking to do. That gold only zone, there's a tiny bit of silver, 1.7 million ounces in the pit. And you throw it on the heap leach like you would in Nevada, traditional, well done mining, and it just gets us that start. Then we'll look into going to option 2 and option 3.
Okay. Now that's what we discussed last time. That I prefer this mellow approach to start with the oxide, and then out of the cash flow, you build up the big thing, right? So especially in these markets. Right? And so what is there besides securing the water? What else is planned? Is there some more drilling going on?
It's a big year, yeah. So we'll start drilling, and you'll see a drilling news release. We talked about it on our news release last week on drilling the oxide to a bankable feasibility study.
Okay,
that would be about a 60 by 60 meter, and then we're calling it the transition zone, where you go from the oxide to the sulfide. At the Marikanga mine, there is some heap type leach, copper, and we're going to look at seeing what's there. We haven't really tested it. We'll see how that goes. It could add some ounces, and we'll also do some bottle roll tests to see, can you do that? So those are big things. Then we'll look at, we need to put up a new PEA. I know I get emails from your German listeners and saying, Rob, what are the numbers? I mean, your PEA is 2013, 2014. What fuel price did you use? What power price? Tell me about all this. And as we know, the fuels come down. We know power in Chile's come down dramatically, and these are things that people want to take another look at. So we've got a big agenda over the 2017 period, and you'll see lots of news from now into, I would say, June, and then starting up into September, October, going forward. And we're very excited. I mean, as you saw yesterday with all the people that came to Vancouver, and they were very good retail investors mostly. There was some institutional people there, and people are excited, and they're taking a look at development type stories, not just only Exeter. I mean, if I don't know if you work with Northern Dynasty or your people know that story's done incredibly with the changing government in the USA. The sea bridges. So people are taking a look at this development story and looking at Exeter again and see a path forward, at least on the oxide and going forward.
Yeah, and that was a good ride on the share price yesterday. So can you pinpoint what it was? Was it like an institution? Was it retail? Or
I think it might have been a bit of everything. Maybe the gold price. Maybe Donald Trump said something. Obviously, I was at the show yesterday, but it had. We have been undervalued, and maybe it took time from the news release people to go, what does this water mean? Are they really going to move forward? How is this going to go? And maybe there was a lag.
Yeah, what I monitored over the last couple of years, actually, on Exeter is that the good thing about Exeter is that there are no rumors around. Like most of the time with other companies, you get sometimes I get a call like, hey, next week we will have the news release, and then it's not only that I get it, it's also that other guys around the city get it, and they kind of front run a news release. I wouldn't say they do something illegal, but they kind of have some assumptions and they deal on it. And on Exeter, you never know, right? So even I get them from the ticker, probably you, no, not you, but
I get them last. I get them last before we get them out there.
And this is why sometimes if the news release is a long and technical news release, it just takes the investors maybe a day or two to really work through it and understand it.
And maybe they look at some other opportunities. Dan Earl at TD is the only person covering it. Maybe they got their hands on that. Maybe they phoned in. Maybe they phoned some brokers or some fund managers or their friend who understands mining and say, what does this mean? So that's the thing. But there's a lot of things that are going to happen. We're really excited here at Exeter. It's been the last few years in our market has been very tough, as you know, Michael. I mean, we and your people know that too. But there is a buoyance in this market. People are looking at opportunities. It doesn't mean that every stock's going to go up, but they're looking at select opportunities.
And as you know, I'm covering Exeter for like 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, 5, 6 years, right? And I was always a fan. The good thing is, Rob and also the other guys, they're always open to talk to me. They don't hide anything. They give you the real information. And that's something which I really appreciate, especially in this city where there's a lot of BS around, I have to admit. Anyway, so I think that was a good update. I hope that we will be able to catch up at PDAC again, which is coming up at 6 weeks or whatever. And maybe you have already some more developments to talk about.
Maybe we'll have some more news to talk about to your people. We're looking forward to that.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much.